This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Friday night, February the 3rd, 2023. I'm your host with the most, PJ Phatts. PJ Phatts? PA Phatts? P whatever Phatts. Joining me as always in the upper right-hand portion, left-hand portion, center portion of the screen, whatever. Coming to you live from Phatts Studio B, deep in the heart of Center County, Pennsylvania. He looks really thrilled tonight with his Waffle House hoodie on. The one, the only, the non-genetically proven Son.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm excited watching wrestling. I'm watching the same stream right here. I'm not allowed to talk about wrestling.
You are not, because I am taping it. I do not want to get distracted by it.
Oops.
So.
A little bit of wrestling, some real wrestling.
So we're a day away off. It was yesterday was Groundhog Day. And depending upon what groundhog we're referring to, we either have 6 more weeks of winter or we got an early spring. That little dopehead, Puxatawny Phil, saw his shadow. So he went scurrying back in his little hole.
Look at that fat thing.
Which means 6 more weeks of winter.
Well, I already been saying, we've had a warm December and a warm January. You already know it's going to be like April 23rd, and it's going to be 5 degrees outside.
Yeah, we're going to get a snowstorm, an Easter snowstorm this year. Then we got the groundhog up in Quebec, Canada, who didn't see his shadow. And why didn't he see his shadow? Because right before the event started, he died. Little hard to see your shadow if you're dead.
A little bit.
Just saying.
A little bit.
And then we got my favorite, the Italian groundhog. He saw nothing.
Yeah, he's saying nothing.
He saw nothing. That's my favorite. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's sunny out. Doesn't matter if it's cloudy out, rain, snow. Partly sunny, partly cloudy. He ain't seeing nothing. That's my favorite groundhog, the Italian groundhog. Who's your favorite groundhog? People gonna participate tonight? Probably not. Probably not. So, this is our unique weeks for sports because we're in between the NFC, AFC championship games and the Super Bowl. So, there's not too much football to talk about tonight. We'll talk about a little bit in a little bit.
Good. Football out.
So, we use this night to talk about some other sports that interest us. So, we're going to start tonight with a sport that we were both heavily involved in our life.
Curling.
I was going to say cornhole, but okay. Curling it is. Bowling.
Oh.
We both picked up that ball fairly early in our lives.
I wonder why.
And we both got tired of it in our lives.
Fairly early.
Fairly early in our lives. But the U.S. Open is currently going on.
One of my favorite tournaments.
Yes. It's not my favorite. I could say the
I don't
Masters is my favorite. What?
It's probably not my favorite, but it's one of.
Yeah,
I probably agree on the Masters.
Oh, the Masters is by far my favorite. But the U.S. Open is going on now. They are currently in round 2 of match play. Looking at the updated leaderboard. Ooh, we got a new leader. That was quick. That's quick. Anthony Simonson. And Tomas Kaiko are tied for the lead. EJ Tackett only 13 pins behind, with Kyle Troop in 4th. And then we got 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, which I'm told they're doing the U.S. Open a little bit differently this year. Is that true?
That's what I hear. I don't know if this is actually true.
Okay.
But it's what I hear.
Okay. What did you hear?
I believe a pretty credited source of Brad Miller.
Brad Miller.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about Miller in a little while. So what does Brad Miller have to say?
Well, he's the one who said that they're doing 2-step ladders this year. So instead of 5 making the show, 9 make 2 shows.
And that is correct.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full on Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
In a show. 8 versus 9, winner versus 7, winner versus 6, winner versus 5. The winner of that step ladder is the 5 seed for the next show on Sunday.
Yep.
And so they're finishing match play tomorrow, and then they'll do the show.
That is correct.
And then the top 4 plus the winner of the first step ladder all on Sunday.
Yep. That is correct.
I think it's just TV publicity because the odds of any of those 5 people winning are pretty slim to none.
You never know. You never know. We've certainly seen people run the ladder before.
Pretty much just Belmonte recently.
So the rest of the tournament, they're using oil pattern number 4, which I put it up on the board for anybody to see that wants to see it. I'm not a fan of when USBC does stuff like this. What I mean by stuff like this is they don't make the right and the left even. To me,
yeah, the left is hard.
To me, that always makes one side harder than the rest, than the other, which, you know, this has not been a lefty-dominated tournament.
No.
For sure, we know of 3 lefties that made it to match play. Maybe more. We don't know all the bowlers that are in match play. There's some names that I don't recognize. Stop watching wrestling.
Keep it at it.
Pay attention.
I am paying attention.
So, what we see here is 1.5 to 1 on the left and 1.75 to 1 on the right. 41 feet. Almost 29 mils of oil.
Correct.
Fire in tank A, ice in tank B. So, for those of you that don't know, fire tends to hook more than ice.
Yeah.
And for those of you that... So tank A, fire, is being used on the forward oil, and tank B, ice, is being used on the reverse oil. And again, for those of you that don't know, the forward oil creates the length of the pattern. The reverse oil creates like the shape of the pattern.
I'm gonna have to interrupt here. They're not using fire at all on that pattern.
Really? Even though it says it at the top.
The forward and the reverse, it says in tank, it says B.
Okay. All right. So tank configuration B only. I see that. So I don't know why they would put fire in tank A if they're not using tank A.
Probably one of the other three patterns uses fire.
Okay. Well, whatever. All right. So if they're using ice, then it's going to create more hold. That's for sure.
For what little hold there is, yeah.
So, to say it again, forward oil creates the shape of the pattern, reverse oil creates the hold of the pattern. Or am I saying that backwards? I used to know this stuff by the.
Oh, that's correct.
I used to know this. You can tell I'm getting old.
Ugh, you are old.
I am. So, relatively flat on the forward, with a little bit of shape in the reverse. It's not flat on the forward, but it's relatively flat. But it's got a little surprise, which always makes patterns harder. For those of you people that like to create oil patterns, or if you just want to learn to how to read a lane graph sheet. By the way, we did a video about a year and a half ago on how to read one of these lane graph sheets. I would suggest, if you don't know how to read a lane graph sheet, to go back and watch it. It was very informative, if I do say so myself. But
it was something.
Well, thank you. What makes a pattern harder is, so typically, as you go down the lane, the oil moves inward. So,
right.
Your first run is always the 2-to-2 run, so to say. So from 2 board to 2 board. There's never oil laid on the 1 board. So you got your 2-to-2s, and then it goes, 4-to-4s, 5-to-5s, 8s-to-8s, 10-to-10s, 12-to-12, or whatever. But in this pattern, on, where are we?
6.
Number 6, past 6, it goes back out to 2-to-2. So, from the 25-foot line to the 31-foot line, it goes back to 2-to-2 and lays 3 loads of oil. So what that means is the ball is, starting to come to hit lighter oil, and all of a sudden, wham, it goes back in on oil again on 2-to-2. That always makes the pattern harder. So you could create a super simple, easy shape to an oil pattern, but you throw in 4, 5, 6 feet of another 2-to-2 halfway down the lane, you created something hard. I remember I had a bowling tournament a few years ago where I did that.
Oh, yeah, it sucked. Because it didn't play anything like it was supposed to. Basically, your pattern said, you have to play the gutter, and what did it hook? The gutter.
Alright. Not exactly
Except
true.
Lefty that has 480 revs The gutter didn't hook.
Not exactly true. That is not what the pattern was supposed to do. The pattern was supposed to, for righties, at least, was supposed to make you play straighter early and migrate left throughout the day. That was the idea of that pattern.
Well, it didn't do that.
If you broke down the pattern correctly, you would have played outside of 5 and then moved left the rest of the day.
I think if you had it on synthetic lanes, it would have played more to what it was supposed to. I think with the shape and oldness of wood, you don't play out there ever.
I don't know. In the practice session, it worked how it was supposed to work.
Yeah, because I think that was that could have been just the pair, the lane. I don't know. Because we both have 2 versions of it. One was the house.
Yes. So there's 2 versions of my pattern: a short and a medium. And short
just
was
one
just
has about 9 more units of oil. The short was easy. So this is exactly like the short. We all lined up with your thing. You said throw the exact same ball, same shot, same ball. I think we all got like 1 or 3 off the right because it just went dead straight. It was hilarious.
So, I do want to talk about one person who's currently sitting in 19th spot. Former PJBT bowler Michael Martell.
Woo!
Former excellent PJBT bowler Michael Martell. Lefty. By the time his bowling career is done, you're going to know his name if you don't know it already. I promise you. I got a funny story to tell about Michael Martell.
Okay, shoot.
So, you two bowled against each other on more than one occasion.
Probably like 5.
I don't believe you have a very good record against him.
I
think you.
I don't think I ever beat him.
You either never beat him or you beat him once.
It was in some match play that didn't matter though.
Yeah, I remember the first time you faced him was at the Invitational Tournament, the PJBT Invitational Tournament, in the semifinals.
Was that the first time I ever faced him?
Yes, that was the first time you ever faced him, and I thought they put that match on the wrong pair because you had already bowled on that pair.
Yeah, and the line I was playing worked for about 8 frames, and that was about it.
Yes, so you couldn't use that line in that match.
Pretty much.
Not to say you would have won anyway.
I was dead.
Do you remember? That was also your first year bowling in the scratch division. So you were 15 bowling in the scratch, first year in the scratch division, and you were in the semifinals of the Invitational, bowling against Michael Martell. Do you remember who was in the other match?
Selmer, who was the 2 seed? Who was the 2 seed?
He wore glasses.
No, he didn't wear glasses. What was his name? Mitchell or something?
Like to wear shorter shorts.
It wasn't Jack Cook.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
Well, you go back and watch it sometime.
It's not on. We weren't doing that yet.
That's right. So you had no idea it was him. But that's
why his name was Mitchell.
That's besides the point. But my story about Michael Martell happens to take place down at Best.
Okay.
At the Best, the bowlers of Eastern Tournament Series tournaments.
And definitely
It was the first time you made match play.
Okay.
And he was just sitting there talking with his friends. And, I stopped to, just talk to him for a few seconds. And I said, I said, like you had faced him like 3 times by then. And he kicked your ass all 3 times. Let's just face it. He kicked your ass all 3 times. And I said to him, I said, Mike, I said, if you face my kid again today, can you take it a little easy on him?
Oh, he kicked my ass.
And well, you didn't face him that day.
Oh, I faced him the second day, and he shot like 240.
And he looked right up at me and went, no. And I said, that's the best answer you could have given me. That told me so much about his character. Yeah, he could have joked around with me and said, sure, he's your kid, we're friends. Yeah. Instead of shooting 300 against him, I'll shoot 299 against him.
There you go.
Joking around. But he just said, no. That is a competitor right there. That is a competitor. So good luck to Mr. Martel. He's got to do a little bit better. He did not have a good first block of match play. He is 2-2 in his second block of match play. He shot 200 all 4 games.
He's only 200 out of the show, and that's
he's up in 19th. He is 155 pins off the show right now, so it's doable.
700 for 3 games and 3 wins. He's 50 off the show.
Well, heck, he could be in the show.
True.
I mean, scores are not particularly high.
Nor should they be.
No, it is the U.S. Open. It's kind of like, when for golf, when they put it at Bethpage.
Or just let the rough grow to about 8 inches right around the green. Then doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bethpage is a pretty good example.
So no surprise that Anthony Simonson has taken the lead.
Actually, he's not. He's not in the lead.
Oh, did they update again?
Thomas Keiko is in the lead.
Yep. Let's look at the last update. Thomas 5-0 in match play. EJ Tackett back up to second. Simonson down to third. That would almost be a show not worth watching. If the top 4 were to stay like this, whoever Kyoko is, I don't know, Tackett, Simonson, and Troop. Not one of my favorite shows.
You like Tackett.
Yeah, I like Tackett, but he's right now the Chris Barnes on TV. He's the Danielle McEwen on TV. He's the Lindsay Boomershine on TV.
He sucks.
You get on TV and you fall apart. It's in his
Lindsay
head.
Boomer.
You didn't even know who Lindsay Boomershine is, huh?
Yeah, I do. She's a Storm's bowler.
Okay, well, I thought you said her name like you weren't understanding who that was.
No, it's just a funny, all the ones you picked, at least you picked a couple that won some titles, and then you just picked Lindsay Boomershine.
Martel lost that match, but he moved up a spot. But now he's 215 pins out of the show.
Keiko is at least one-handed.
That's good.
It's better than having all two-handers. A little windy.
Yeah. So, good luck to the rest of the boys. I believe the finals are Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Why couldn't they be at a more convenient time so I could go outside and enjoy the weather?
Fox.
I'll probably record it then.
Fox.
And try not to love the media.
Fox.
Hey, it's better than ESPN.
So, did anybody have any comments? No. No comments, of course not. You guys don't care to comment. That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame. So, another sport that we like, that we don't talk much about, that's getting its start again for the season this week, NASCAR.
Another left turn! Actually, you watch more NASCAR. I watch a lot more dirt racing.
That is true. That is true. Not that I don't like dirt racing. It's just it's hard to find.
You don't go to it.
It's hard to find on TV.
If you're gonna go, you have to drive all the way up to Port Royal, because that's the only good dirt racing in your closest area.
Lanco's not bad.
For midgets. If you want to watch the best 410 drivers, you're going to Port Royal, maybe Williams Grove. That might be a little closer.
Well, there's a lot better drivers at Williams Grove, and it is a lot closer than Port Royal. And I will say Lincoln has just good of drivers as Port Royal does.
Well, Lincoln's basically the same thing. Gets the World of Outlaws, gets the All-Stars.
Yes.
Because you're going to go, that's what you're going to go watch.
Yep. All I know is that Lincoln, we get to look at the fat guy run.
That was Lanco.
You sure that wasn't Lincoln?
Pretty sure that was Lanco.
I'm pretty sure that's Lincoln. Look at the fat guy run.
I certainly know you ain't going to go to Port Royal to go watch some late models.
I'm not going to Port Royal to watch some late models. That's a long drive to go watch some late models.
You're not going to go watch the Rumble.
I mean, I could go
by the river.
I could go up to Big Diamond and watch the 358s just follow the leader.
Oh, that's pretty much what the late models do.
So, yeah, the Bush Clash or something like that is this weekend at the Coliseum, where USC Trojans play their football. Yes, they actually run a race inside the Coliseum.
It's like a quarter-mile track.
It is. It is.
It's so tiny, and Pit Road is like a little lane that's like 2-lane wide. It looks kind of stupid, actually. It's probably a good race because there's probably a lot of passing because you don't get the speed.
I think it's very interesting. So last year was the first year that they had it.
I don't know how they're putting 40 cars on that.
They don't. There's only 30.
Okay.
Like it's not an official NASCAR race. It's a Bush race. And it's like almost like an all-star kind of thing. Yeah, I now that, for those of you that don't know, I have Sundays off, I'll be able to watch a lot more NASCAR this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
I look forward to Daytona.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
He doesn't even commentate anymore.
I know, he retired. He's old.
Yeah.
Maybe I should commentate for them.
Huh?
Maybe I'll go commentate for them.
There you go.
Boogity, boogity. Do it like you're a professor. Boogity, boogity. Have the pipe. Boogity. So, you were supposed to find me a video.
I'll do it right now.
About a new rule that NASCAR is putting in this year.
He's won his way into the shit.
Yeah, something like that.
This isn't the greatest quality, but it's short enough. I gotta want a 3.5-minute video.
No, I do not want a 3.5-minute video.
Well, here we go.
So, can you call it the Ross Chastain rule?
that's pretty much what it is called at this point. They're basically they're ban. You can either call it the Ross Chastain rule or they're banning the Ross Chastain.
They're not banning Ross Chastain. They're banning the Ross Chastain.
Yeah, like the Ross Chastain move. Like, call it whatever you want. You know what it is if you watch NASCAR. At all, even a little bit.
Yes. So, let's back it up a little bit. Let's see here. Let's enlarge it.
Right the line. The one of Chastain past championship in Phoenix. Take a look at what he did.
I have never seen anything like that before in my life.
Around the wall in 3 and 4 at
So basically,
Have you considered going solar in Pennsylvania, but afraid?
I haven't considered going solar in Pennsylvania. So basically what he did was, he basically got alongside of the wall and just gunned it. They were on a short track where he was on a short track where he can't go very fast, and he basically got up to the wall and he gunned it, and he got around the outside of the track up against the wall very fast.
And he ended up making the transfer because of it to the last race.
Yes.
He didn't win,
No.
but he gained 5 spots in 2 turns on a short track.
Yes.
It's probably the coolest move you're going to see ever.
Oh yeah, very, very ingenious. But do you think it should be outlawed?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I can see why they're doing it because of liability and blah, blah, blah. You get all legal with me. I don't care. You could do this. Basically, if you do that and you get hurt, it's not our fault.
Sure. Well, what happens if you hurt somebody else? You know,
who are you going to hurt?
Some moron is going to try it and bounce off the wall and turn left.
True.
And he's going to get T-boned, is what's going to end up happening. And someone's going to
I
get
get why they did it. It's a full safety thing. But it's lame, because that's so cool.
Either that or you'll just have everybody doing it.
That would be boring, then.
Exactly. So,
Like, if someone does it in a normal race and not in the playoffs, then who cares?
yeah, all of a sudden you have somebody gunning at the last lap of Daytona.
That would be dumb, because you're not going to gain any speed doing that. It only works at the short track. It only works there, because you're not going over 130.
True. Very true. Very true. So anyway, NASCAR starts next week. Should be Daytona qualifying? Question mark? And then the week after the Daytona 500, or either that or I'm off a week. So NASCAR is back. Not as good as it used to be, in my opinion, but it is what it is.
Well, cars don't go nearly as fast.
What?
Cars don't go nearly as fast.
No. I mean, back when I was a kid, whoa, those cars went fast on the big tracks because there was no restrictor plate. Those cars were going between 220 and 230 on that track.
Yeah, now they go like 190.
That's fast. That's fast.
Yeah, they flew around the track.
Yes.
Well, that's how people got hurt.
So last week, we had a discussion on the show.
Waiting for the last 2 weeks.
So I asked some people this week if they agreed with me or not. So,
Okay.
My issue is, if you're a guy, how do we determine a guy? You have a penis.
Well, yeah.
We are not one of these just because you say you're a guy, you're a guy. If you got the male chromosome in you, you are a guy. Free period. Free. Which, by the way, I had a meeting with somebody this week in Zoom.
Okay.
And if you want to piss me off, seriously, if you want to piss me off, have a business meeting with me. So, not just a regular conversation like we're having right now. Have an actual business meeting with me in Zoom where I have to see your name and then see your freaking pronouns after it. I'm sorry, it just pisses me off. I shouldn't have to see Ophelia Way, she, her. Again, if you have a vagina, you're a female. It's just that simple. I don't care what you say. If you want to pretend you are a male, by all means, go for it. Go. It's your life. But don't expect me to pretend. So maybe I should start putting my pronouns in. PA Fats, fuck you. That's my pronouns. PA Fats, fuck you.
That's pretty good.
That's my pronouns. Just saying. Yeah, I know I'm going to get all the hate mail in the world from you trans testicles. I know. That's an Andrew Dice Clay line. He used to call them trans testicles. I know. I'll probably get fired from my job. I know.
There you go.
I know. Why not? Who cares? That'll give me more time to do this.
True.
But anyway, it's my contention if you are a man and you go to a sporting event, especially one where a high testosterone sporting event like football.
Oh, so not like synchronized swim.
Not like synchronized swimming.
Or,
but where there's hitting. Or something like bull riding. That's a high testosterone event.
well, when to anger the bull, they have a rope around their nuts.
Yes. Yeah. The bull doesn't consider itself a female, I promise you that. That bull doesn't have she, her. I can promise you that. But, you know, boxing, UFC, you know, high testosterone.
Hockey.
Slicing.
Yeah.
As a man, you should be ashamed of yourself. I repeat, ashamed of yourself if you are drinking light beer at one of these sporting events. Yeah, if you go to the diving championships of the world, yeah, fine. You want to have a light beer, go for it. Go for it. Fine.
But like a tailgating sport.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing worse than going to Lambeau Field in January. You tailgate, you eat your brats with the cheese, whatever else you're eating there, and you're washing it down with light beer.
Should be washing it down with a 9% IPA.
Yes. Yes. Like, ladies, I know you watch the show. Seriously, don't you lose respect for a guy like again, you're at a sporting event and you're on the prowl looking for some dick. And you see this attractive guy. Looks similar to me, let's say. I'm attractive. To the right blind girl. You're out hunting a guy, and he's holding a Coors Light or a Miller Light.
Let me tell you something.
Or a Bud Light.
You should never, ever, ever go to a Penn State tailgate. That.
Well, all right. So help me out here. I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a beer drinker. I never have been. Never liked to have it. My favorite beer, like I said on last week's show, is White Birch. If I'm going to drink alcohol, I'm going to drink the harder stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink beer. So help me out here. Is light beer cheaper? So if I'm going to buy Miller, since we want to pick on Miller here, if I'm buying regular Miller and Miller Lite, am I paying the same price or am I paying less for Miller Lite?
I don't even know what regular Miller looks like.
Okay.
Because they don't sell that.
Okay.
Like a beer store doesn't sell Miller and Miller Lite. They sell Miller Lite.
Really?
I don't know if I've ever seen Miller.
All right, so Bud and Bud Light.
I'm pretty sure they're about the same, yeah.
All right. That's your job. The next time you go pick up some alcohol at your favorite beer distributor or supermarket, since you can buy that stuff in a supermarket, just check what the price is of regular beer and then it's light beer. Or if somebody's watching could tell me. So why? So
Well,
you're going to tell me most of the pussies at a Penn State tailgate are drinking light beer?
I would say people who are maybe alumnus that come back, so they're older, they drink a lot more mixed stuff and beer. The students, all light beer.
Well, okay. So the students, they can't handle their alcohol yet because they're young, dumb, and full of,
When I get given stuff at a tailgate, I like to go for, they call it like the Penn State Special. It was basically like 3 different liquors and Coke.
Uh-huh.
Very tasty. Basically tasted like Jack and Coke.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
Is that what?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Let me ask you this question because you drink beer and I don't. You go to a sporting event.
Yeah.
You want a beer. Okay? So, for those of you who don't watch the show, if the sporting event you're at has any kind of beer imaginable, what beer are you buying? Typically, 9 times out of 10, you're going to buy this beer.
IPA.
What?
Beer, IPA, are those all the same thing to you?
Yeah.
I'll either go find a Guinness or I'll go find an IPA of some sort.
Okay. But if they have every beer imaginable ever made or made in the world, and what is your go-to beer?
Guinness.
Guinness. Okay. Super. Is Guinness a light beer?
Far from.
Okay. It's a dark beer, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this question. You go to a sporting event. You go to an Eagles game.
Right.
Better yet. Better yet. Better yet. You travel on the road to see Penn State versus Ohio State.
Okay.
Okay? So you're in Columbus, Ohio. You're in, what do we know what the name of their stadium is? Is it just Ohio State Stadium? Or
Political.
What?
Just look at it. Look at the political. So.
Or you're in Michigan at the Big House. Okay?
Okay.
You want a beer.
Yeah.
Let's just assume for a moment, it's not true, but let's just assume for a moment, they only sell Miller Lite.
Okay.
Are you passing on the beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $8 for Miller Lite.
Thank you.
Thank you. If it was, I'm not even sure I'd probably buy like an IPA if they had it because it's a sporting event. But I don't know. I'm not much of a. If I'm in football, I don't really want to drink a beer. I think it's really like baseball is like the big one I like to drink at.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe because it's slow. I need to be drunk to enjoy it.
Okay. But you're passing on the piss, and by piss I mean light beer.
I don't like light beer at all.
So people understand. No self-respecting alpha male is going to be drinking light beer at a sporting event. Okay? It's just that simple. So I asked a few people this week. The first answer I got was, well, isn't that all that the Link sells is light beer?
No.
I'm like, no.
They only sell 2 light beers, and they have a multitude of IPAs.
Yeah, they probably had about 20 beers listed when we looked it up last week.
At least.
Yes, most of them being IPAs.
IPAs, porters, better beer.
Yeah. Yes. A couple people looked at me, they didn't agree with me. A couple people just looked at me and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like why are you asking me this?
Like, why does this matter? Kind of thing.
Now, again, for the ladies, to me, light beer is perfectly acceptable. See, I am not a feminist in any way, shape, or form. I think men are different than women. I think there are plenty of things that men do better than women. Sorry, ladies. And I think that there are plenty, probably more, things women do better than men. I'm going to tell you this right now. There is not one man on the face of this goddamn planet that could carry a child for 9 months. If men could get pregnant, the world would come to an end. Because men can't. Men could not carry, men could not deal with that. There are more things on this planet that women do better than men do better than women. Could men build skyscrapers better than women can? Men do the hard jobs. Men, fight wars better than women do. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. But there are certainly a lot more things that women could do better than men. A lot. It's just the way that it is. So I don't like it that women try to be like men. I don't want a woman that's trying to be like a man. That's like a turnoff. That's a huge turnoff. One of the things I like most about women is their femininity. Femininity. The fact that they're feminine. I like a woman that likes to put on a little bit of makeup, not much. Put on some perfume, does her hair up nice, dresses like a woman, a nice dress, shows off her legs. I like that. I don't want to see a woman dressed up in a pantsuit like Kamala is all the time. If you're going to be dressed up in a pantsuit like Kamala, you might as well go on the Ellen DeGeneres show and do one of these. For those of you that are regular watchers of this show, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm sorry if I upset some of you. I know most of you are probably agreeing with me. You're just too chicken shit to say it. But you agree with me. I'm watching me dance on TV right now. pretty funny on a big screen, I can tell you that. All right, so at least I raised the non-genetically proven son right that he's not gonna goddamn drink a freaking light beer at a fucking sporting event.
I would just drink nothing at that point.
Thanks be to
Or
God.
water. Or a water.
You don't want a water at a sporting event that costs like $12.
Well, guess I'm drinking my own spit.
There you go. There you go. All right, so we had a couple of football games last week.
Ugh. Can we just skip football?
Extremely.
They were both. One was really boring. The other was something that pissed you off.
Oh, there was a lot of things about both games that pissed me off.
Huh?
There was a lot of things about both games that pissed me off. So, if you're a regular watcher of this show or you like to troll my Facebook page, you will have known since week 5 when San Francisco was 2-2, and by the way, after week 7, going into week 8, they were 3-4. I said San Francisco was going to beat Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. Right, non-genetically proven son?
You did, but you also probably didn't expect to have Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback.
I am going to say this right now. If Purdy doesn't get hurt in the game, so if two things happen. Number one, the officiating crew in Philadelphia does the quick review on that fourth down catch, which was not a catch.
Right.
Or the coach for San Francisco just calls fucking timeout. And then there's plenty of time to review it and see that it's not a catch. And if Purdy doesn't get injured, San Francisco wins that game. Now, how you say, oh my God, Philadelphia put up 31 points and San Francisco only scored 7 points. Philadelphia beat the living shit out of them. Did they? Did they? So you had the fake touchdown scored. Okay? So if that play doesn't happen, they don't score a touchdown there, and there's probably no point scored in the first quarter, and I win a couple $100 fucking because I had a prop play. I said it here last week, and there would be no score in a quarter. And I had money on it at plus 330. I would have been that would have made my day. I would have been up a couple $100, couple C-bills. So you take that touchdown away. Oh, it's 24-7. Oh, it's still a pretty dominating game. Yeah, the fourth string quarterback for San Francisco also turned the ball over deep in San Francisco's side of the field. That led to another Philadelphia touchdown. That doesn't happen. So now all of a sudden it's 17-7. Now all of a sudden it's just a 10-point game. Do you think with Purdy in the game, San Francisco could have put up 18 points?
Yes.
I think there's a better than 50-50 chance they would have. So, once again, and I know I'm going to catch flack for this too, here's the Eagles getting lucky again. Just like they've gotten lucky all season long. Starting with their schedule. Oh, but
Yeah.
Jason, 3 out of the 4 teams in the NFC East were the Final Four. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It just tells you how sucky the whole NFC was this year.
Very.
It sucked.
Because the NFC has been the worst division in football for a while now. And now they're the best?
I mean, what were the Eagle non-division road games this year? Let's see. Detroit, Chicago, Houston, Indianapolis, Arizona.
best one out of there was Detroit.
Yeah. I mean,
That was week 1.
I mean, their two AFC opponents on the road were the two worst opponents. They played Houston, who was the worst team in the league, and then they played Indy, and they only beat Indy by a point. They played Arizona, Chicago.
They play Detroit after week 10. They lose because Detroit was unbeatable in Detroit.
Yeah.
Once they figured out how to play.
Yeah. So now they get to take on Kansas City, who's got a ton of wide receivers who are injured, and they got a quarterback who can't move around. He was clearly injured in the game against Cincinnati. Yeah, they won the game. I give them all props in the world. They won the game. They shouldn't have won the game. There was a lot of questionable calls in that game.
A lot.
A lot.
Like every other call.
A lot of questionable calls. None of which were going against Kansas City, by the way.
True.
Yeah, a lot of questionable calls. So, you went 1-1 betting the lines last week. I went 0-2. Your prop plays, you had A.J. Brown over 4.5 catches. Did that happen? I have no idea if that happened. You had the Eagles minus a half a point in the fourth quarter. I don't know where the hell you pulled that bet out of your ass.
I got it.
You did. You had Mahomes to throw an interception. I don't think that happened. And you had Kelsey over 7.5 interceptions. I have no idea if that happened either.
Interceptions.
Receptions. Sorry.
Kelsey. Come on, Chiefs. Mahomes did not throw an interception. Kelsey had 7 receptions, and he had that, I believe, halfway through the third quarter, and didn't get a catch the rest of the game. And he dropped one that was right in front of him.
So
but A.J. Brown, how many catches?
4. You needed 5 or more.
He had 4.
Okay, so you went 1-3 on those bets. I had total points in the first quarter under 9.5, so I won that bet. I had San Francisco to have more than 1.5 field goals. That didn't happen. I had Cincinnati more than 2.5 touchdowns. That didn't happen somehow. And I had McKinnon to score a touchdown. That didn't happen. So we both went 1-3 on our bets. I played a lot more prop bets, and I lost them all. The only one I won was the under 9.5 in the first quarter.
All I know is I won the competition.
You did win the competition because you have you have Kansas City and Philly. That wasn't your Super Bowl, by the way. Your Super Bowl was Cincinnati and Philly.
Yeah.
I had
the NFC 100%. I had one game wrong.
Yeah.
I just had Tampa beating Dallas, not Dallas winning.
Yep.
In the AFC, I had one game wrong.
Yeah. And you'll have the Super Bowl wrong, too.
Super Bowl
because you have Cincinnati winning the Super Bowl. All right. So that be that. So next week, we'll give our breakdown of the football game. We'll give our pick. So next week we do a must pick on the side, a must pick on the total, and 5 prop plays where at least one prop play has to be above, what is it? Is it plus 500 or plus 400? I forget.
We've done, I think, different. We've done 300 and 500.
Okay. So we'll discuss what we want to do there. Let me ask you, though, right now, off the top of your head, with a line at Philly -2, if you had to bet it right now, who would you take?
Philly.
I would take Philly as well, only because of Mahomes' right now, as far as we know, limited mobility.
And that's why I would take them, too. I don't want to take them. the odds of me watching this game are probably like 20%. To be honest. I'll probably turn it on, but I won't actively sit there and watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same way. We talked last week about which of the 4 possible Super Bowls, which is the one we wanted to see. This was our least one that we wanted to see, I believe.
Yeah.
It definitely was my least one that I wanted to see.
It was my least, I believe, as well, because I wanted to see Cincy win.
Mm-hmm.
So already that knocks it down to minimum of 3, and I don't want the Eagles to win, so...
Yeah. So to me, it's going to be the Eagles getting lucky again next week that they don't play they get to play a quarterback that likes to scramble, who's going to be limited with scrambling. So, but
they'll figure out how to win.
But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Mahomes is back to full strength the week after. I mean, they also got a lot of injuries in their wide receiver department. I don't think Jalen Hurst is fully healthy. He's definitely still hurt. He can't throw the deep ball right now at all. I mean, that catch that was ruled a catch that wasn't a catch. That wasn't even a good throw. I mean, the receiver had to make an unbelievable diving backwards catch.
Yeah.
So that be that. So that's pretty much going to do it for tonight's show. Hopefully, I have to set up a new computer tomorrow. So we might be doing this on a new program. I'm not sure. So no guarantees we're going to do a Tuesday show next week. Do you have a Friday night event next week?
Hockey doesn't play. Wrestling is on the road, so no, I don't think so.
Really? Hockey doesn't play next Friday?
They have a bye week.
Okay. All right.
Then they have Minnesota, Wisconsin back-to-back at home.
All right, so of all probability, we'll be doing this show next Friday. I should have at least some kind of program figured out if I got to download OBS and do the show via OBS. Hopefully, I could split screen OBS if I have to. If not, if I got to buy a cheap version of Wirecast, then I'll buy a cheap version of Wirecast. That is what it is. It is what it is. So, you guys have a wonderful weekend, whatever you do. I'll be watching bowling. I'll be watching NASCAR. There's something on tomorrow, too, that I wanted to watch, sports-wise. I forget what it is.
I'll be working.
But who knows? Not all day.
Half a day.
Yeah. Oh, well. We all got to do things that we don't want to do in life.
I want to sit here and do nothing.
Well, you get to do that all day Sunday. Unless you go to church.
I'm probably going to go out. It's nice. I might as well at least enjoy when it's 50 degrees out in February.
Yeah, I don't know where you're seeing 50 degrees. I'm only seeing 47 down here, so that puts it mid 40s.
Sorry. Rounding.
Rounding.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What is this? Common core temperature?
Yeah, it does say 47 degrees up here, but sorry, I'm rounding.
Well, interestingly enough, that's what it says down here. And so if it's 47 down here, it's more like 42, 43 up there.
That's very warm. When it's 58 in my apartment or less.
Yeah, it sounds like mine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a safe, happy, and healthy week. We may be here Tuesday. If it is, who knows? We might be talking about some kind of spy balloon floating across the country. Who knows? But until then, it's been great as always. Wave goodbye to the fine people. See ya.